Hi everyone, this is Jenna from Gateway to College. I'm the resource specialist and I'm going to be taking you through parent orientation for the fall 2020 semester. This is all of our contact information. We will also be sending you a link that has this PowerPoint presentation in it, so you will have access to this slide if you need to refer to it in the future to get in touch with us. We're a small staff, there's only 3 of us. Marcy is our program director, I'm the resource specialist, and Glenda is our program assistant, so you'll probably have contact with all of us throughout your child's time in the Gateway program. We are going to be continuing remote learning for fall 2020. Most classes will have regular meetings, so your Gateway student will be on Zoom or a similar platform having sort of traditional synchronous instruction. Students will be expected to attend all their classes and complete all of their work in accordance to what the professor has set up, and I'll be meeting with students weekly to make sure they're on track. Our program is an alternative high school program for students who are at risk of not graduating high school on time. They're able to earn college credits while completing their high school diploma requirements. We're a national program, so there's over 40 gateways across the country, and our specific program is one of the top performing gateway sites. We are the recipient of a Program Excellence Award 4 years in a row. We partner with Uxbridge Public Schools, so students will receive their diplomas from Uxbridge High School. Students have to complete a school choice process into Uxbridge Public Schools. It's really important that we receive that paperwork so we can receive funding to pay for the students' classes and books. Hopefully most of that paperwork is in, but Glenda will be in touch with you if we're still waiting on anything. We follow Uxbridge High School's graduation requirements, which is 4 English classes, 4 math classes, 3 history, 3 lab science, 1 fine arts, 5 total units of gym and health, 1 foreign language class, and some electives. So if these graduation requirements are a little bit different from your child's previous school, they might need to take a couple of different classes. In general, most schools are following these same requirements. MCAS is still a requirement for our program because we issue a high school diploma. We, just like everybody else, are currently waiting for some more directives from the Department of Education to figure out what testing may look like this year. Students received a roadmap to their graduation at their interview, and I will update those as I get final transcripts from this school year. And this roadmap shows them the classes they need to take in order to complete their high school diploma requirements and how many semesters they'll need to be with us. FERPA, the privacy law, works a little bit different on the college campus. We have an information waiver that students fill out that allows us to speak to a parent or guardian or support person in their life. They're welcome to put more than one person. Your name has to be on that waiver for us to be able to speak with you, even if your Gateway student is under 18. That's because we're operating on a college campus. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to get in touch with our office and we can tell you if you are on the FERPA form or not, and the student is able to update that at any time. So if you're not, if they forgot, we can talk to them and see if they'd like to add you. For our first semester students, I create the schedule for them. In future semesters, we'll pick classes together based on what the student needs to graduate from high school. Students have some choices in their classes, but they have to be working towards completing their graduation requirements, so they don't always have complete control over their schedule. Students are able to explore different subjects through elective courses, so if they're interested in studying psychology, they might take Psych 101 as an elective, things like that. Gateway students are able to take up to 4 classes per semester, which is about 8 classes a year. Some students might take 3 classes in their first semester. I was a little more liberal with that this semester, knowing that we're remote and students might have a hard time with that. Students can self-pay to take additional classes during the semester or over summer break. A semester course at QCC is equivalent to a full year high school course. So if a student takes FYE, math, English, and study hall in our health class in their fall semester, which is a pretty standard schedule for a lot of our students, they're going to be receiving a full year math credit, a full year English credit, a half year elective credit for the lab, and a unit of high school health for the GTC 101. FYE and English 101 are both college level classes, so they're earning 6 college credits for that. If your Gateway student is in college level math, which would be math 121 or 122, they're earning an additional 3 college credits for that as well. We do have a one-time non-refundable $200 enrollment fee. This fee can be waived if a student has proof of being eligible for free or reduced lunch or a couple other things. Glenda would be happy to work with you on that. We're a scholarship program, so our program pays tuition and fees for up to 4 classes per semester for student. Students who fail a course and need to repeat it, so let's say they don't pass math this semester, need to take it again, they do have to pay to repeat the class. Students who take an elective class, like that's like 101, and then change their mind and want to withdraw or fail, have to pay us back for the course. Students who opt into an extra semester in the school to complete 2 semesters of a foreign language and then just changes their mind and they withdraw or fail the class will also have to pay us back for the course. That helps the students just keep that motivation in mind. It's really important for them to stay on track and pass their classes. We provide textbooks on loan to students for this semester. All books have to be returned. Typically, it's by the last day of finals. What we'll do while we're remote is have specific days for students to pick up their fall textbooks and also at the end of the semester to return their textbooks. Staff is not on campus all the time, so we'll have some special days and times for that. Students who fail to return their books on time will have to pay a late fee, and students who don't return their books at all will be charged the full cost to replace the books. We do reuse books, so it's really important that we get our books back on time so we know how many to order for the next semester if we have a deficit, and repeating using textbooks over and over helps us keep our program costs down. All full-time college students in Massachusetts are required to carry health insurance, so that's a state mandate, that is not a Gateway mandate. So students have to waive their health insurance with the college every fall. So it's the student's responsibility to complete the health insurance waiver. That is part of their application or their acceptance packet. And there's very detailed instructions that Glenda sends out how to do that. If the student doesn't have health insurance or forgets to waive it, they are responsible to purchase a health plan from the school, which is about $2,300. This is not a cost that we cover. If your Gateway student doesn't have health insurance, please let us know as soon as possible so we can try to help them find a less expensive option. This is a sample new student schedule. Everything's a little bit different now because we're operating remotely. English 101 is going to meet remotely Tuesday and Thursday from 12:30 to 1:45. Math 95 meets remotely Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 to 12:50. FYE, I think, is going to meet remotely Mondays only from 1 to 1:50. Our health class is going to meet Monday and Wednesday from 2 to 3. An academic lab is going to be completed on your own, and I'm going to work with students to make sure they're completing their homework, and that's how we're going to award credit for lab. Again, this is just a sample. You can kind of see we start a little bit later in the day than traditional high school. Classes don't meet every day. So it's usually a pretty nice transition for students to go from a full day high school schedule to our schedule. Academic support, this school is still running all their tutoring centers remotely. We have a math center, a writing center. General academic areas covers everything that's not math and writing. And we also have a 24/7 online tutoring service called ThinkStorm. Students have access to all the tutoring centers. We have the in-person hours listed through Blackboard, which is our school's electronic platform. Students are able to log in and access the tutoring centers that way. The easiest way to do so is writing centers by appointment, and the Math Center has specific drop-in hours for specific subjects. So we'll walk students through what that process looks like once we have them in their classes and in that Blackboard site. We work with a really, really wonderful group of faculty, and we're very lucky to have them. So faculty will be available to students over email. Some of them accept texting and phone calls. That's up to each individual faculty member. So students should look at their syllabi and make sure they're checking their email for information from professors about how to get in touch with them. My position, as I mentioned earlier, is resource specialist. My role is to support students, help them get through to graduation. I meet with everybody once a week. That will be a virtual meeting this year. We'll meet probably on Google Hangouts. We call that weekly check-in, where we'll go over all the students' classes and see how they're doing, troubleshoot any problems. I would be that first line of defense for students that need help with academic things or other stuff. I can certainly refer students to campus or community resources as needed. I do all the academic advising, so course scheduling, things like that for students. QCC does have a licensed social worker on campus named Tina. She's wonderful. She is working remotely, so students can give her a call to set up an appointment. Students that are under 18 will need parent permission to meet with Tina, and so what she would do is email you a form to sign off on, allowing her to meet with your student. There are some QCC specific and state policies that we also need to follow. Any student returning to school from a hospitalization, whether it was for a physical injury like a broken leg or a mental health crisis, is asked to meet with the Dean of Students office. We have to report any hospitalizations to them. And they just want to have a quick meeting with students as they enter back into the college to make sure they have the support that they need. This is not a punishment. This is to make sure students have the accommodations that they might need and support services on campus. We're also required to report any current or recent suicidal behavior that we're aware of to the Dean of Students. Based on the information that we have, the college may offer the student some additional supports, like meeting with our social worker. Active suicide ideations, we also report to the Dean of Students office. And again, the college, based on the information, is going to offer, they are going to offer different support services to the students depending on the situation. They'll definitely want to know if the student has outside counseling in place already, things like that. And just like in the K-12 system, we're mandated reporters, so we do have to report any suspected child abuse and neglect to our school's Title IX officer, who takes care of filing the actual report with DCF. We all work together to support our Gateway students. We have a wonderful community here at QCC. We have our faculty that love teaching Gateway classes. The faculty are going to let us know of any attendance issues, any academic issues that they see, so we can work to support students. We have an open line of communication with our faculty, so students usually don't get away with things like skipping class or not passing in assignments for too long before we're alerted to it. So we usually are able to start addressing problems pretty early on. We don't expect students to come in as perfect students. We know students may be coming in from an environment where they weren't going to school, they weren't trying very hard, so we kind of anticipate students will have problems with homework completion, time management, organization, passing things in on time, adjusting to the independence of being a college student. So we're really prepared to help them with all these different issues. I'm going to walk you through the student policies now. You are going to have a link to all these policies so you can go back and review them in more detail. Our student success contract, the student agrees to attend other classes, be prepared for school, return their textbooks at the end of the semester, maintain at least a 2.0 average in their classes. Most of the time our students have 3.0 GPAs, so a B average. This is where they're signing off that they need to pay for repeated or failed courses. We have a pretty comprehensive attendance policy. Our goal is that students attend 85% or more of their scheduled classes. We track attendance based on professor reports, and when we're in person, we physically see the students every day. If a student is absent, they are required to contact us and let us know, and also let their professor know before the class is missed. If we discover a student skipped class, this is usually when a professor emails us attendance, the student is marked absent for the day, and we will let you know as well. We contact a parent or guardian when we become aware that a student is absent. We do make attendance phone calls this semester. We'll try to do them at the end of every day. If we're getting weekly attendance, we might lag a couple days because we don't have the information until a little bit later. If you are aware that your Gateway student is going to be missing school, please contact us and let us know so we know that you're aware. We will put a student on an attendance contract within the first month of school or dismiss them if attendance is an immediate issue. That decision is made on a case-by-case basis. In terms of excused versus unexcused absences, excused absences are things like hospitalizations, doctor's note, court, things you can't change. Unexcused absences are doctor's and dentist appointments, those routine things, childcare issues, transportation issues, having a really bad cold so you're sick but you're not contagious. Unexcused doesn't mean they're not legitimate reasons, but they still count towards total absences. So we don't want students missing school to go to the dentist and have their 6-month cleaning or things like that. Excused absences do still count towards the student's total absences. All the attendance data shows us that it doesn't really matter why a student is absent, it just matters that they're not attending school. So with chronic absenteeism, excused versus unexcused does not have a significant impact on how the student's doing in school. It's really just being in their virtual seat, being in class, interacting with their teachers. That's the most important thing. We do have a attendance intervention plan that we put into place at 6 absences. So that plan will troubleshoot what's going on, what can we do to maintain absences where they are instead of getting more. So we make every effort to help students with attendance issues. We'll do wake-up calls, incentives, work with parents, things like that. We really want students to be here and be with us. Attendance is going to be just as strict with our remote classes. We want to make sure students are attending and they're prepared, ready for class. We have given students a handout about expectations for remote classes and meetings. We know this is different. This is new for a lot of us. So you can refer to that handout, but we basically talk about being on time, being prepared, having an appropriate background if that's possible, trying to eliminate background noise if that's possible, and how to address concerns and questions you have with your teachers. All student communication over email goes through the student's QMail account, which is their student email. QMail is powered by Gmail. We ask all of our students to download the Gmail app and Google Calendar app and connect it to their account. So we do a lot with Google Calendar as well in terms of meeting reminders, things like that. We don't expect to have any snow days in fall 2020 because of remote learning, but in the event that we do, you want to make sure you're following QCC's inclement weather closings, not your home district, not Uxbridge Public Schools or Worcester Public Schools. The easiest way to get inclement weather alerts are downloading the QCC app. That will push notifications right to your phone and you will be able to get closing information. A really important thing to know is that our staff does not make these decisions and we don't have information before anybody else. I find out the same time students do that school is closed by getting a notification from the app. If the school is closed, we are not working, so we're not responding to messages. It's the student's responsibility to get closing information. So if you text us and say, hey, is school open today? And school is closed, you're not going to get a response from us. So students are required to maintain a 2.0 GPA, have acceptable attendance, and follow our program guidelines in order to remain in this semester. So once a student's accepted, it doesn't mean they can stay forever and ever if they're not meeting expectations. So we evaluate students at the end of the semester to make sure they've met all expectations to ensure they can move forward. We also meet with all of our new students after the first month of school, so we'll be meeting with everyone in early October. Midterm grades will come out in November, and then we'll meet again at final grades. These will all be virtual this fall. If there's any major issues during the semester, we'll have a meeting to discuss right away. Most of the time, students are not surprised to know, their spot in the program is in jeopardy. It's something we'll have talked about many, many times before it gets to that point. As a last resort, we will withdraw a student from the program if they're not meeting expectations. When that happens, we'll make every effort to assist the student in finding another program. Central Mass is pretty rich in alternative options, so sometimes there's just a better program out there for the student. If the student wants to come back to Gateway, they have to take one semester off. So if a student starts in fall 2020, gets dismissed in fall 2020, they have to take spring 2021 off, and then they can reapply for fall 2021, as long as they're still age eligible. We have some special programming for students. We have our academic lab, which we give one high school elective credit for. This is for students to dedicate time to complete their homework. We have our GTC 101 and EverFi health credits. GTC 101 is the health class all new students take together. That is provided by Accessibility Services and is my gateway to a meaningful life. We also have a couple online health credit options that students can take advantage of. This semester, we're offering our robotics class, which is a high school level lab science. Every week on Fridays, I'll send out a weekly email where we name a student of the week and give student shout outs for doing things well. We understand that students are not, or students may be coming from a negative experience in school, and we want to make this as positive as possible. You can follow us on our social media accounts to see what we're up to. We try to go on a field trip every summer. We've gone on a whale watch a couple times, to the zoo, things like that. Hopefully we'll be able to do that in summer 2021 as long as the pandemic is under control. We also have honors nights at the end of every semester for students that have high GPAs. We do have a pretty limited budget, so we're always interested in donations that can assist with the cost of field trips or incentives. For example, we know students will do almost anything for a Dunkin' Donuts gift card, so we'll be running academic challenges and try to give some prizes like that to keep students motivated. You can contact Marcy if you're interested in giving a donation. Specific items that we're interested in. When we're in person, we try to always have snacks available for the students. For now, we're mostly interested in like $5 Dunkin' gift cards, things like that. And we'd be happy to talk to you further about that, or Marcy or Glenda would, if you'd like to donate something. Gateway Honors is our version of the National Honor Society and Dean's List. Students with a 2.5 GPA or higher are honored, and we have some special awards for graduates that have college GPAs over 3 and 3.7. We have a graduation ceremony in late May for students that graduate in the fall and the spring. Hopefully we'll be able to have that in person this year. We provide transition services to graduates. Most of our graduates stay here at QCC after they graduate. That's a really, really easy transition. And I would be the person that helps them kind of figure out their next steps. There's a lot of nuances to college applications of dual enrollment students. So students should attend our college admissions workshop prior to their last semester in the program so they can plan. We'll be hosting our college admissions workshop this fall. I don't have a date yet, so keep an eye on your email for that. You want to just keep in mind students who plan to attend a private college or university may not have their dual enrollment credit transfer. We'll go into much more detail about that at the workshop, but it's something to keep in mind. It's really seamless transfer from state community college to four-year state institution. It can be a little bit trickier with private universities. As I mentioned, most of our graduates stay at QCC and they matriculate into a wide variety of majors. Most of our graduates plan to obtain a degree at QCC and take advantage of some of the awesome transfer opportunities that exist. We have students pretty spread out in New England at all the state schools, Salve Regina, Clark, Holy Cross, Hampshire, Assumption. So, they're going to some really great schools. So this is something to keep in mind. I know a lot of our students think college is really unattainable to them because they've done so poorly in high school. This is a great place for some redemption, to get some strong grades, and colleges are not going to care too much about how you did in high school if you have a degree from QCC and you have a strong GPA. As I mentioned before, all new students will have a first month of school meeting, a midterm grades meeting, and a final grades meeting. We welcome parents and guardians to attend those meetings with their students. We can try to find a time that's convenient for you. And if you're not able to attend, we'll send you all the paperwork and notes from the meeting so you're able to keep up, and we're happy to chat with you about that at another time if you're not able to attend the meeting. In terms of supporting students, ask what's going on in the classes, see if your students will share the syllabi with you so you can help them keep track of what's going on. Keep an eye on those weekly emails from me that will have program updates and announcements in it as well. You're welcome to contact me, call or email to see how things are going. As long as you're on that waiver, I'm happy to tell you. Look at the class syllabus with your child, help them keep track of important dates. When are final exams? Is there a big project due? Stay updated, make sure we have the right email address for you so we can send you our weekly emails. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please feel free to get in touch if you've watched this and you still do have some questions. Of course, we can't do question and answers in a pre-recorded session. We're happy to talk to you about anything that wasn't clear or something we didn't address. If you want to, just go into the link we're going to send out with this so you can find our contact information. You can just get in touch with us and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.